Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about insurance. So I have a little story for you about my experience with the insurance company, and hopefully you can take something from it for when you have to deal with them. So for those of you who may be watching one of my videos for the first time, my fiance was in a pretty bad car accident where she was rear-ended by someone who wasn't paying attention at a stoplight. Basically, she was rear-ended at like 55 miles an hour. Quite obviously, the car is no longer drivable. So the day after, we call State Farm, that's the at-fault driver's insurance company, and right away, we have issues. We leave a message for the person that we were told is the agent handling our claim. And a day goes by, and another, and another. So, in an attempt to follow up, we call State Farm back, and eureka, we get through to an agent. Now, being the curious people that we are, we asked, why didn't we ever hear back from the agent that we left messages for? The response? Not only is the person that we left messages for not responsible for our claim, they don't exist. According to State Farm, that person doesn't work there at all. So we thought, maybe they got fired, or maybe they just don't work there anymore. Easily dismissed, right? We're just happy to get a hold of anyone so we can get this claim taken care of. So State Farm takes us through the motions, they assess our vehicle, call us back, and eventually they tell us what they're gonna offer us for our totaled car. But that process took roughly a week, and we had to get around in the meantime, so we were given a rental car. The one that I referred to back in my episode 4 of Becoming Debt Free. So it's pretty standard that when you are hit by a driver, their insurance should pay for the rental car between the time that your car is assessed and the time that you receive an offer from their insurance company. Now remember this because this is important. In cases where your car is deemed a total loss, the insurance company should be paying for that rental vehicle until you receive payment from them. In some cases, you can even get them to extend it for a day or two after you receive payment as well. Now, back to the story because this is where it gets interesting. When we received the offer from State Farm for our totaled vehicle, they told us that we had 7 days from the time that we accepted the offer to return the rental car. They also said that if we needed to, we could call them and get an extension relatively easily. Sounds pretty good, right? Wrong. After a day or so, we called to confirm that part of the check was going to go to Toyota to pay off the remainder of the balance of the loan that we had on our total vehicle. But the person that picked up the phone this time gave us a little bit more information than that. Remember how I told you that the other agent said that we have 7 days to return the rental car from the time we accept the offer? Not according to this new agent. They tell us that actually you only have 5 days, and really you only get 3 days, but they gave us 5 as a courtesy. They also say that the only time they give extensions is if there's some type of holdup on their end. Seems weird that two agents that work at the same call center would have such vastly different accounts for what constitutes the actual process, but I'll roll with it. So we accept the offer. So the agent tells us that in a couple of days that the check would be sent to one of their State Farm locations in our area so we can come there, sign a couple of papers, and walk away with a check. So a couple of days go by, no check. And a couple more days go by, still no check. After a week, we call them to see what's the holdup. Their response? Someone in their office canceled sending our check. The reason, you ask? They don't know. Not only did they not have a record of sending the check to us, they don't even have a record of us accepting the offer. Seriously, you can't make this stuff up. But it gets better. Now, remember how I said the second agent said that we really only have 5 days to return the rental car? And that they only extend that deadline if there's a mix-up on their end? That's right, we blinked and the process changed again. This third agent says they don't ever give extensions for rental cars. Ever. And even though he has a record of someone canceling sending us the check, we have 2 days to return the rental car. And that's not gonna change. Even though he knows the money won't get there by then. Now, up until this point, I had been listening in the background, and Danielle had been handling most of the day-to-day with the actual people on the phone. I would just sort of follow up with her afterwards so I knew what was going on. But not this time. I asked to speak to the guy on the phone, and he tells me his name is Dennis. So I say to him, Dennis, we've been given incorrect information not once, but twice now. You're the third person to give us different information. Are you really not willing to extend the usage of the rental car with so many mistakes on your end? Dennis says, and I quote, I understand that, and I apologize. But under normal circumstances, you'd only be given 3 days, and we gave you 5. Alright, so here's what I had to say to Dennis. Are you kidding me, Dennis? Normal circumstances? Did you really just use the term normal circumstances? Under normal circumstances, my fiance wouldn't have been rear-ended by your stupid driver. Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't get 3 answers about process every time I call State Farm. And most importantly, under normal circumstances, companies extend deadlines when they realize that they messed up. Then, I asked to speak to his manager. Obviously, by this point, Dennis isn't very happy with me. He tells me that it's going to take a while to get hold of a manager and that he'd have one call me back in about an hour or two, but sometime today. And in an hour and a half, Dennis calls back. Not a manager, Dennis. And guess what? He got a manager to approve an extension on the rental car. Looks like they give extensions after all. It just takes 30 minutes of yelling at them on the phone. So from that point forward, everything goes smoothly. We sign the papers, we get the check, we pay off the loan on the old car, and we no longer have a car payment. The point of me sharing this story is to remind you of a couple of things. Most importantly of which is that the insurance company is not your friend. They don't intend to make this easy for you because you're costing them money. You are your best advocate in all cases. Record everything, document everything, and ask for things in writing that you normally wouldn't ask for. Have them email every step of the process that they tell you they're going to have you go through. Because if you don't have that documentation, they can change on you just as quickly as they changed on us. When it comes to your livelihood and things that are going to get you to and from work like your car, it's best not to take chances. And when you run into people like Dennis, freaking Dennis, do not be afraid to ask for someone who's in charge who can actually make decisions that will impact your claim. People like Dennis are willing to sit on the phone with you for hours and just talk you in circles with nothing changing. And if you don't stick up for yourself, Dennis sure won't. So remember that the next time you have to deal with the insurance company. Hopefully, that isn't anytime soon. But that's it, guys. That's all I have to say about the insurance company. So as always, thanks for listening. I'll see you guys in the next video. Freaking Dennis.